Hey guys, I'm back with a new TalkTech video. Usually we do a Rumors of the Week episode every Monday, but since CES has just ended, I wanted to give you my first impressions and a full recap of CES 2015. Let's get right into it. Okay, so let's start with car technology first. First thing I want to talk about is a hydrogen fuel cell car. Toyota just not really announced, but they showed off their Toyota Mirai, which is probably one of the first cars that will have hydrogen fuel cells inside the car. I think that hydrogen fuel cells are the future of car technology and the future of alternative fuel sources, because byproduct is water, so there's really no downside to it. You could probably just drink it up. Yeah, so hydrogen fuel cells are going to be a huge part of the future, and I hope that it will be the future of car technology, and maybe even the future of an alternative energy fuel source. Next up is the Mercedes dream car of 2030. Mercedes showed off a really cool concept for what a car in 2030 might be like, where you don't have to drive, you're able to face each other inside the car, you're able to converse, and you don't even have to have any windows because the side will be all LCD TVs, which show the outside through cameras. It's a really, really cool concept, and I hope that in 2030, combined with hydrogen fuel cell cars, I hope that might be the future of cars in 15 years. Audi show off some really cool concepts where you could just go through an Android Wear watch, and just through a click of a few buttons, the car will actually go up onto the side of the curb and you could just walk in. Now that's really cool. I mean, imagine not even having valet because, just come to you. That'd be really cool. Also, Audi also showed off some cool hand gestures and voice activation technology so that you don't even have to touch anything while you're in the car. So I think that will also be led to the future. I mean, all of these things that these car companies are showed off at CES, I really hope will be future of cars, and that we'll see it very soon, so that people can drive safer, more efficiently, and have a greater time in a car for, let's say, long distance roads. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about are smartphones. So in my opinion, I think that there were 3 big announcements of smartphones that are really important in the smartphone industry and can really take off because of how great they are. So I want to talk about the LG G Flex 2, the Asus Zenfone 2, and the Seagis V2. First up is the LG G Flex 2. So this device is the successor to the original LG G Flex that was unveiled last year. It features a curved body just like before, and this time it's much smaller because the original LG G Flex was too big for most people's hands. This time it's got a 5.3-inch display, still curved. Last year there was the self-healing back. They improved on that much better this year, and now it only takes about 3 seconds for it to heal. It also improved on its display. It's got a 5.3-inch 1080p display, unlike last year with a 720p display. So, if you look at the display side by side, you'll obviously see a much better difference in the LG G Flex 2 than the LG G Flex. Overall, we can see that the LG G Flex 2 is a suitable competitor for many smartphones out there, like the HTC One M8, Nexus 6, and so on and so forth. Next thing I want to talk about is the Asus Zenfone 2. The Zenfone 2 has a 5.5-inch 1080p display, 64, 32, or 16 gigabytes of storage, an Intel processor inside that's 64-bit capable. It runs Android 5.0 Lollipop with Asus's custom skin on top. It's got a really nice camera. I'm pretty sure it's 13 megapixels with f2.0 aperture, and overall it's just a really great device. But if you think that's it, there's one more thing I haven't even told you about. That's the price point. The thing that sets the Asus Zenfone 2 apart from the rest of the crowd is that it's only $200 off contract. That's pretty crazy. That's lower than the Nexus 5. It's lower than the OnePlus 1. With all of these great specs, it's hard to believe that it's so cheap. So overall, the Asus Zenfone 2 is a great phone with a great price point, and I just hope that it'd be able to gain popularity without some brands behind it like Samsung or LG. Lastly, the last phone I want to talk about is the Seagis V2. So, if any of you out there want the biggest, baddest beast of phone, in specs-wise, of course, then look no further. The Seagis V2 has 32 or 64 gigabytes of internal storage, 2 micro SD card slots of up to 128 gigs of storage. It's also got 4.4 Lollipop stock version, which you can upgrade to Lollipop soon. Also, for all you developers out there, it's got you can root it without voiding your warranty, so that's a big plus for the Seagis V2. It's also got an keyboard camera shutter key, which is really cool because you don't see that every day. It's also got a fingerprint scanner. It's got a 1080p display with cornering Gorilla Glass 4. It's got a 21 megapixel camera with 13 megapixels on the front, and it supposedly will be available on all carriers once it's out. Right now it's only for pre-order. So, what do you think of the Seagis V2? Do you think that you'd buy it? It's clearly a beast of a phone, so I'd really like to hear from you. Next thing on the list are TVs. So, at CES 2015, we saw a lot of really cool and different TV technologies. We saw quantum dot, we saw some more OLED TVs, we saw more curves that could be turned into flat, just a whole realm of TV technology. And 8K also, I forgot to mention that. 8K, really cool. So, MKBHD explains the different technologies really well. I'll leave the link down below if you want to check it out. But it's really cool how these things work. But I don't really want to necessarily speak about the technologies, because I'm sure many YouTubers out there have done it, just like MKBHD. I want to explain how they look in real life, even though I've never actually seen it. I've heard and read about it from many different journalists out there. So let's start with 8K. So basically, 8K is kind of like when you see the difference between a 1080p and a 720p display. That's kind of the difference that it is from 4K to 8K. So it's gonna keep growing, but once it gets past that 326 ppi that Apple is so famously saying for what's the sweet spot for the type of resolution that it has to be. I think that once it gets to that sweet spot, then you won't be able to see pixels, and that's when we're going to get the peak of resolution for the TVs. Next thing I want to talk about are quantum dot TVs. So, quantum dot differs from LCD because they don't really have a backlight. Because basically what happens is an LCD has a backlight to filter out the red, green, and blue, colors. But since quantum dot basically has 7 different colors, it doesn't need a backlight. And because of this, it makes colors really pop compared to LCD. But OLED is where it's at. Although they are more expensive, they stand for organic light emitting diodes. And basically what happens is they can turn off the light by itself. So if you've ever seen an OLED display for maybe your Samsung Galaxy S5 or whatever, what happens is you can get deep blacks and vivid colors because it doesn't have a backlight either. So although it's much more expensive to create an OLED panel than an LCD panel, it could be the future. And if you ever get a chance to see it in the store, it will be a great opportunity to see what the difference is between the conventional LCD and an OLED TV. What do you think is the best type of TV? Leave in the comments below, and let's keep on going through the video. So, since I don't want to take all your time out of your day through just CES and the great wonders of CES, I'm just going to leave this last category as miscellaneous. So, at CES 2015, we saw things like the Z-Board 2, we saw the USB Type-C, we saw the butt selfie, and many other really cool, different technologies that you don't really get to see every day. So that's basically what makes CES so special. One thing I do want to note, though, is that Oculus had a really huge booth about the Oculus Rift, where they included sound, and they showed people connecting and playing volleyball. So I thought that that was a really cool thing that Oculus did. And we saw things like e-ink. They showed a color version of e-ink for walls. Not really for mobile, but unfortunately not for mobile. I'd like to have like a colored pebble, but it was really cool to see what these companies did, and I hope that I could go one year. Maybe you guys can come with me and check it out. So that's it. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button below. If you want to see more videos like this, and if you want to see more action of me, hit it right over there. Otherwise, comment any other things that you wanna see in the next video, or any other things that you want to talk to me about. I'll see you next time.